Okay, I've got a great story for you. We're going to focus on when we see somebody doing something wrong. I'm going to tell you a story about Aharon, the Kohen Gadol, who was Moshe Rabbeinu's brother. Now, if you remember, we told a story about Aharon, how if he saw two people fighting, what he would do to make shalom, to make peace between them. Well, Aharon was very into making sure that people felt good about themselves, that they felt happy, that they didn't feel bad. And a lot of times when we see somebody doing something wrong, if we tell them that they're doing something wrong, they feel very, very bad. They feel bad they got caught doing something wrong. They felt bad that they did something wrong. And it's not, they feel so bad about themselves, about everything. So we try to make sure that people don't feel bad about themselves. That is what we try very, very hard to do. And Aharon was an expert at this. Now, can you imagine? Aharon was the Kohen Gadol. He was one of the greatest Jews alive when he was alive. Now, imagine if Aharon would come up to you and say, hey, you know what you just did? What you just did was wrong. Now, why would Aharon do that in the first place? There's a mitzvah in the Torah called Tochacha. Hashem said, Tocheach et amitecha. What that means is that if you see somebody's about to do something wrong, you have the responsibility, you have the mitzvah to tell them that they're doing something wrong, that they shouldn't do it. But the end of the pasuk says, "Lo tisa alav chet," but you shouldn't have an averah, you shouldn't have a sin or a chet when you do it. What does that mean? That means that you have to tell somebody that they're doing something wrong, or if they already did something wrong, that they did something wrong in a very nice way. You can't be mean about it. They have to feel very good afterwards. You can't embarrass them. That's very, very important. So how would you go ahead and do that? You would have to say to somebody, hey, instead of yelling at them, hey, you're not allowed to do that. Or, hey, you know what you just did? That was really wrong, which makes somebody feel bad. You have to go over to them and say, hey, can I tell you something? I feel really bad about having to say this, but I know that you don't want to know that you did something wrong, so that next time you don't repeat it, you don't do it again. And that way, the person doesn't feel bad that they did something wrong. Well, when Aharon would see somebody doing something wrong, he would know, even if he went over to them and said it in a nice way, the person would feel so bad because the Kohen Gadol came over and said something to them that they did something wrong, so they wouldn't want to do that. So how would Aharon do it? Aharon would see somebody doing something wrong. Let's imagine Aharon heard somebody say something mean to somebody else. Or Aharon saw from far away, he saw somebody steal something. Let's imagine that. And so Aharon could go over to the person, he could say, hey, you stole something. And it would kill the person inside because that was the Kohen Gadol saying something to them. So instead, Aharon would come over to them. And let's imagine that the person that did something wrong, his name was Yosef. Let's imagine, we just picked a random name. His name is Yosef. And he would go over to Yosef and he'd say, hi, Yosef, how are you? And Yosef would be like, wow, Kohen Gadol saying hello to me. So I'd, well, I'm okay, good, how are you? And Aharon would start talking to him. How's your job? How's your family? How's your learning doing? Do you daven well? Is there anything I can help you with? And while Aharon was talking to this person, Yosef, who did something wrong, Yosef would think in his mind, he would say, whoa, the Kohen Gadol is talking to me. If the Kohen Gadol knew that I just stole something, Aharon and Kohen Gadol would never talk to me. They would say, I need to earn this. I need to be better so that Aharon wouldn't be embarrassed if he found out what I did wrong, and I wouldn't be embarrassed. And that way, the person would do better, and they would do tshuva, and they would never steal again, not because Aharon said, hey, I caught you, but instead because Aharon just simply talked to them and the person felt bad. That's a big lesson for us that Aharon taught us in the way he acted towards other people. That's how we have to act towards other people. We also have to make sure that we're not hurting anybody's feelings. And even when we're doing a mitzvah to tell somebody that they did something wrong, we have to make sure we do it in a way that doesn't hurt their feelings. What an important lesson for us to know. Shalom.